Hey, hey, it is Dr. Shanae of SP Consulting Group coming to you again with some more helpful tips. I hope that it helps you, at least. If not, of course, you're always welcome to spread the word, share it with someone who might find it helpful. I am your organizational development psychologist, as well as your licensed psychotherapist, executive wellness coach, and your expert in work life balance and work life integration. There's a lot of verbiage out there, but I'm all about, making sure that you as a human being are able to have harmonious living regardless of what you do for a living. I just so happen to work with a lot of executives of top businesses, Fortune 500 companies. I also work with those that are leaders in their community, leaders in their home, and I definitely make a point to help those that are, I'm located in downtown Los Angeles. So I also end up working with a few celebrities and those throughout the various entertainment industries. So let's catch up. What are we talking about today? We are talking about giving you some tips and tricks, but true tips that you can apply that are very easy and palatable to immerse into your daily life. Okay. And so we are talking today about how to truly sparkle, clean up, make shine your mental hygiene. So I first wanted to start off with what is mental hygiene? We hear so much about mental wellness, mental health, mental illness. But I want to just talk about just in your everyday life how mental hygiene is essentially the science of maintaining your mental health and preventing disorders. Preventing disorders. So it's ultimately what you actively do to help yourself function at your full mental capacity, full mental potential. And it does include all the measures taken to promote and preserve your mental health. Rehabilitation. It's rehabilitation of those that have mental challenges, disturbances. And like I said, it's about preventing mental illness and helping you and I cope in a very stressful world, right? So that's mental hygiene in a nutshell, the science of maintaining your mental health and preventing the development of psychosis, the development of neurosis, and other mental disorders. Okay. So when we are talking about your practice, the things you are doing to try to maintain and prevent mental illness, you are talking about something that you're doing to be proactive, things you're doing on purpose. And the key here, as far as your first tip, is what you are doing actively on purpose daily, on an ongoing basis, something that you do all the time. Okay. What are you doing? And this is a question for you as I give you some tips here. What are you doing every day to check in with yourself and make sure that you are keeping your mind healthy? A lot of people have been coming to this place of looking at their diet. That's one of them. What are you eating? That actually is one of the things I was going to mention today is being able to eat well. And being able to eat well isn't just, oh, I'm going to become a vegan. I'm going to become a vegetarian. It's not that. It's having a conversation with your medical doctor, having a conversation with, if you can, be referred to a nutritionist, an herbalist. What can you do personally based off of your biology, the chemistry for you alone, individualized approach? What can you do to eat well based off of what you eat? An example I want to give of how simple it is not and how intentional you should be. I worked with someone that was a herbalist um, who also was trained as a acupuncturist. And so I was getting acupuncture to manage chronic pain. And so this person was able to take literally my blood work and be able to decide what should be my eating plan. It had nothing to do with being a vegetarian or a pescatarian or anything like that. It was very specific things that I should eat, things that I should limit, things that I should stay away from, all for the purpose of things that would impact my mood. But if you haven't heard it before, you're hearing it today. Your intake of food impacts your mental health. I was even told, just to give you an example, like a very specific example, I was even told, try not to eat cheese. And I love cheese, okay? Like that's one of my favorites. I love cheese. And I was told, you may not want to do cheese too much because it actually makes you more irritable. So you mean to tell me I was getting annoyed because I was eating my cheese? Yes. What you ingest plays a role in the chemistry of not only your blood and how it is fueling, what it is fueling, nutrients and otherwise, vitamins. It also impacts your mood, the chemistry, the chemicals, the synapses that are firing in your brain. Another one, as far as hygiene is concerned, areas for your hygiene to consider, one would be talking about your feelings. You should be talking about your feelings. And this is not just with your intimate partner. You should be able to talk about your feelings with your friends, with those that you feel are your close social supports, because you want to be able to talk through things with those that are closest to you, um, to really exercise a healthy level of expression. It is not just in a matter of extreme emotions. It's also about self-expression. And I always support, when you have huddles, when you're in the workspace, to be able to establish a close relationship with your supervisor, your management, your colleagues, to where you can touch bases with each other. I think that a part of huddles, regardless of the industry, should include how are you feeling? What is going on right now? How can I support you today or in this moment? And things like that. Um, my little dog, he's just tapping and tapping around. His nails need clipped, but go, go. Um, but either way, talking to your friends about your feelings, okay? Eating well, like I said. And I am going to venture to say that there are people that follow me that may drink, right? So whether it's wine, whether it's cocktail, I've begun to joke around. Maybe I shouldn't about those that partake maybe excessively with bottomless mimosas for brunch. But I want you to consider what you're doing here. I am also certified as a internationally certified alcohol and drug counselor. And so I end up seeing and hearing a lot about um, professionals, um, executives, leaders that are using drinks, alcoholic beverages, excuse me, alcoholic beverages to manage their stress. Well, the thing is, you may think that, oh, the drink relaxes me or it helps me sleep, but ultimately it's really just shutting down your organs. It's creating a retarding response in your organs, which is why everything seems slow mo, which is why you ultimately feel like you're relaxed. Your body isn't responding as quickly as it should. So even though you may partake in alcoholic beverages, I would say think sensibly about it and consider, managing that as less of a coping mechanism, less as for a way to self medicate, staying away from that. And, do what you do, but do it in moderation. Not to the point of blacking out and having all of these stories to end up telling me in session, right? So drink sensibly. That is a big one. Drink sensibly. Okay. Keep in touch with people. Keep in touch with people. Your social network. If you don't have a new, not a new, but if you don't have a social support system, and say that you are moving or you have moved into a new city, a new state, a new area of town that you're not familiar with, and maybe your usual friends, their schedules don't allow you to be able to connect. Find ways to keep in touch. Find ways to keep in touch. No one is an island. No one was built to be alone. No one was made to be alone. We are social beings. So, regardless of if you get your energy from socialization or you get your energy from being alone and having quiet time to rejuvenate, and at the end of socializing and being social, you are ready to get home and just get quiet, still do the socialization, still stay in touch, still make sure that you are connecting, because that also helps with that part of our body, that part of our being that requires connection. Okay, the exchange of energy, the exchange of communication. Okay, and take breaks. I'm always talking to people about taking breaks, and that's not just a vacation. It is also taking time throughout each day to take a break. Some of you are having or scheduling 2 hour long meetings. After 40 minutes, 45 minutes, the brain start veering off, which is why a lot of times when you go into trainings, and I know that I've done this when I'm facilitating a leadership development training or a professional development training, wellness training, I usually have stuff on the table, little odds and little trinkets and things to help the adult learner, because after so much time, people need breaks. And I think that that should be supported a lot more. You should release any guilt because you aren't failing anything. Guilt is usually the feeling that is fueled by a belief that you failed in some way. You are not failing anybody or anything by taking a break and taking time out for yourself. It does not have to be a long break, but also learn what you can do for yourself in those breaks. Maybe it's mindfulness, deep breathing exercises. Maybe it is turning on, some music for 5, 10 minutes, your favorite song or something that keeps you, going and upbeat. Take breaks. You may even be someone, and I was talking to a client of mine, they were realizing that their depression and sort of melancholy state would rise when they weren't involved in something, like whether it was going somewhere with friends or having some travel plans or something like that. And it was just like, well, if you're noticing this meh sort of feeling, this disconnect, this disengage, this hopelessness, this, no longer having an interest in doing things, this depressive type symptoms, when you're not actively involved in something, you then have to plan that. Know that about yourself, recognize it, but begin to get comfortable being creative, which is something that I actually wrote down. Learning how to be creative with the breaks, being creative with things that you are saying you have limited resources to do. And I'll go ahead and go into the next thing that I had listed, which was identify what may be roadblocks to you engaging in efforts to maintain your health. It may be, well, I like this, that, and the other for my mental hygiene. When I am keeping in touch, I'd rather do it in person, and a lot of my friends are out of state. What can you do to be creative and think outside of the box? Because ultimately, being able to stay in touch still has the same effect on your psyche. Okay. It's just like when you do something that you're good at, which is another thing that can help you with your mental hygiene. Do things that you're good at. You may be good at something like, I'm good at playing golf. So I like going to the golf course. I'm good at that. And doing something that you're good at decreases your stress, because ultimately you're tapping into this reward system because you enjoy doing it. And if you enjoy doing it, it's likely because there's some level of skill there, you're good at it, and being good at something, accomplishing it, engaging in it, reducing stress, increasing this moment of achievement, which ultimately then boosts your self-esteem. Again, we're talking about mental hygiene, things you're going to do on purpose to manage and support your mental health. Okay. So identify even, and this is, again, I'm going to jump back into the other area of roadblocks, um, identify any limiting beliefs. Identify any limiting beliefs that's preventing you from purposely doing efforts, engaging in efforts that will help your mental health. Any underlying beliefs. It may be, I have done this, it's not worked over and over and over again. Okay, then go to a therapist. Then go to a wellness coach. Go to someone that can be your accountability partner that is skilled to help you get out of procrastination, to get to shake you out of inconsistencies. You know, when again, this is about hygiene, what you do on a regular basis, what you do daily, just like your physical hygiene. You take a shower every day. I hope you know this is what you need to do every day. Um, Limited resources. I already said about that. Be creative about that. But my son is calling me. But let me finish this up and then get off of here. Consider and ask yourself about your commitment level and your motivation. Are you committed to your mental health? If so, hold on, Johnny. Hold on, I'm coming. Um, if you are committed then to your mental health, then you need to get on the bandwagon of motivation to get yourself to act on it by engaging in mental hygiene, acts of mental hygiene. Remember, mental hygiene is the practice of trying to maintain mental health through proactive behaviors and or treatment. Okay? So again, mental hygiene is an ongoing process. Understand what it is for you, because once you understand what it is and then you establish what your commitment level is, what your motivation is to fuel, like, is your big why for maintaining your mental health big enough? Being able to stay sane, being able to have greater impact in your business without mental distractions, delays because you're having a hard time making decisions because you're so stressed, because stress does directly impact decision making abilities, creativity, executive function, problem solving. Okay, we've talked about that before. But either way, know that when you understand it, you're engaging in active mental hygiene, you are inadvertently, yet directly, impacting your quality of life. So I hope this was all helpful. I'm going to check in with my son, and he's home. I guess he's having a little coughing fit. So I'm going to check in with him and see what's going on, get him some water. And we're going to keep pushing you guys. So I hope this was helpful. Be sure to share, be sure to follow for more tips, and I will be back with more. Okay? You guys take care and be blessed. Bye.